Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your buddy Uncle Bruce here. Welcome to Stock Markets with Bruce. Today's date is July 13th, 2023. It's an interesting morning. Really is. Thursday here in Calgary. By the way, we have smoke coming in. We definitely have the smell of a forest fire kind of feel. Not thick yet, but it might get. And so all the windows here are shut, and we're hoping it won't be too terribly bad. We'll see how it goes. First of all, the markets seem to be climbing a little bit. We're up 69, 70 points on the Dow, which is a fifth of a point. S&P up 16, and Nasdaq is up 110. We're seeing breaking news. U.S. initial jobless claims are down 12,000 to 237,000 last week. Breaking increase in producer price index over the past 12 months slows to 0.1% from 0.9%. The yearly rate of core price producer index decelerates to 2.6% from 2.8%. So the continued talk about lower inflation is still permeating here in the headlines, which gives us now the question, well, if inflation is backing off, and isn't that what the Fed wants? If the Fed is seeing results that they want to see, wouldn't that mean possibly that the Federal Reserve will ease up on these rate increases they keep talking about? Oddly enough, yesterday, the Bank of Canada came out with their forecast and assessment of inflation for Canada, and they raised rates a quarter point and saying we'll raise it again if necessary. Very hawkish tone out of Ontario, out of Ottawa. Bank of Canada is not going to let up. So the prime rate now in Canada, you want to get a prime rate loan, 7.25% for the top credit worthy people. 7.25%. You got to ask yourself, wait a minute, is a mortgage going to be 7.5%, 8% in Canada? Do I want to think about a house in Canada? Just to give you an idea, here in Calgary, this is Western Canada. We have oil and gas all around it, agriculture, tourism. It's a nice place. You want to buy a middle-class house in this town for a family of four, you're talking $400,000 to $600,000. You want to buy not high-end middle class, but middle class, a little nice, $400,000 to $600,000. You want to talk upper middle class, $1 million, and you're going to go beyond that. Now, if you're trying to buy a house in this city for $500,000 Canadian dollars, some of you out there are going, $500,000 for a house? Oh, wow, that's unbelievably great. Yeah, it is. If your income is there to carry it, it's all relative to how much you make. If you make $40,000 a year, you can't afford a $500,000 house. You make $400,000 a year, $500,000 house is a piece of cake. There are New Yorkers watching me right now going, $500,000 Canadian? You know, that's only like 100,000 American dollars, right? That's nothing. My New York pals out there are going, Bruce, we're generating 150 to 200,000 a year around here and up. And we can't afford a freaking condo in this town. I mean, we are priced out of our own city that we make this money in. I get you. I hear you. Well, a $500,000 house in this city, you got to have 20% down to really make it easy to get a mortgage. You still have to prove your income beyond that, but you want to get a mortgage without a lot of paperwork, like without the worst kind of paperwork, you better have more than 20% down. Well, that's $100,000. And some folks have 100,000. A lot of folks don't. But if you're moving from a smaller house to a larger house and you've got equity of 150,000 in the house you have, you can move into a larger home, $500,000, use 100,000 down and keep 50 grand for moving expenses and padding for just in case bad days ahead. Two incomes coming in, you're going to carry a $400,000 mortgage plus your property taxes, insurance, upkeep, maintenance, heat, electric, water. Up it goes. $400,000 mortgage at 2% used to run about $1,300, $1,400 a month $1,500 a month. $400,000 mortgage at 8%. 2,800, 2,700. You guys have calculators out there. You can look on the internet, find out yourself. It's a lot more than 1,400 a month after tax income. In Canada, there's no tax deductions for your house. You can't write off the interest on your income tax like you can in the States. So it's a different ball game up here. That's a $500,000 house. You want to move into a $650,000 house with a little more footage, like a 500 square feet more space, maybe a bit of a yard. You're talking 150 grand down ballpark, and you're carrying $500,000 in mortgage. That is the 3,000 neighborhood plus. How much are you clearing? I don't know. There you go. Bobby, a $500,000 mortgage at 5%, 200,000 down, 3,800 a month. There you go. Hello. Plus the city taxes that are rising higher than inflation, the cost of natural gas or the cost of electricity or both, water services, garbage services, fees. This is Ontario, Bobby is saying. There you go. You can see for yourselves just what these numbers are. Housing has become incredibly expensive for a lot of people out there. The middle class and lower are getting the crap kicked out of them. Inflation is a vicious enemy, and it is taking its toll and will not stop. So the bankers are saying, look, central bankers are saying, we're going to raise rates to nip this inflation down. We got to get this nipped even more, 2.5%, 3.5%, 4%, 5%. We got to get it down even further. And so they'll raise rates on everyone to make it happen. Well, now you're a businessman. You don't have a housing issue like maybe a middle-class person does, but you got a business to run. And now what are you going to do with your business? You've got to figure out, do I go for a business loan? Do I maintain a business loan? I have a business that generates $5 million a year in sales, generates $800,000 a year in profits, but after taxes and fees and other expenses, I clear $250,000 a year. I generate $5 million gross and I clear $250,000 a year. And I got a business loan out there that's $2 million against my inventory, my building, my equipment, whatever. And my banker is telling me this is an adjustable rate. Or I have a 5-year loan, and what I do is at the end of 5 years, I have a series of $1 million amounts that I pay down, and every year I have to roll over $1 million to maintain my whatever. The banker is coming to me going, hey, sorry, got to tell you, new rates. That loan you took out 4 years ago, we gave you that loan at 3.5%. That loan now is 8.5%. That's 5 points more. And for you to qualify for that loan, we're going to need asset coverage of this much value. Do you have that? Is there that much equity in your business for us to be allowed to lend you money to be protected as a bank? And you're saying to the banker, well, these inflation rates that have gone up, the good news is it's made my building more valuable. Okay. The equipment that's in the building depreciates as it gets older, but it's more to replace. So my used equipment is holding its values more. But I'm not growing my value enough. And my business, where I used to sell product for $5 million, in order for me to make the profit I used to make, I now need to bring in $6 million in sales. And I can't get $6 million because my customers are cutting back how much they're buying from me. The more I raise my price, the more my customers pull back. And I'm getting 85% of the orders I used to get from the same clients. Even though I'm charging more for the merchandise, I'm getting less of it. And on the economies of scale game plan, I'm not making any money because that last 15% that I make, those extra pieces, that's where my profits are because I've already paid all the overheads to do this. And so my business is not more valuable. It is less valuable. And the banker goes, I can't lend you $1 million. I can lend you only $500,000. You got to come up with $500,000, or you got to do without $500,000, which means the business will not replace certain equipment or do certain renovations or certain expansions or offer employees more money. There might be layoffs, and now you cannot grow by getting smaller. And here is this constant leakage that's happening at the bottom here that is killing the economy. And in Europe, it's already hit. China, it's really hitting now. And in the US, it seems to be coming, but hasn't yet hit because everyone's expecting a recession, but hasn't seen it. That's what's going on in that camp. And so we get these announcements here about a strong job market. We're getting announcements about moderating inflation. And now the hope is from economists that, okay, maybe now the Fed has enough evidence that it'll say, we'll raise rates for July, and then we'll see about November. Hopefully, we won't have to do anything in November. We can maintain rates, and perhaps next year in 2024, sometime in 2024, maybe we'll back rates off just a little here, a little there, a little there. Well, while all that talk is going on, guess what's really happening out there? The American dollar is getting crushed. The American dollar is losing value against other currencies. And the reason is simple. The Canadian dollar is rising against the American dollar. Why is that happening? Because the Canadian bank has raised its rate 1/4 point and has indicated it's willing to raise it again if necessary. And the Bank of Canada doesn't meet in November again. It meets next month. The Bank of Canada can raise its rate without a meeting anytime it wants. The governor of the Bank of Canada can announce a rate increase tonight, anytime he wishes. There is no need for a formal get-together. Now, they don't like doing that because that is an extraordinary, out-of-bounds kind of a move, but it can be done. So the Bank of Canada protects its Canadian dollar at all times and can raise rates to do just that, to protect the dollar against a run. Right now, there are no hedge funds taking a shot at the Canadian dollar thinking, the Americans are going to raise their rates. The Canadians don't want to. We're going to short the Canadian dollar because they are such a tiny currency compared to America. We can really run in there. They're not even messing with the Bank of Canada. Because the Bank of Canada has indicated we're raising rates. And because we raise rates, our Canadian bonds, the bonds that the government of Canada issues to cover its deficits, pay a higher yield than American bonds. And so you pay a high enough yield, you will attract currency into your bonds instead of American bonds. As simple as that. So if the thinking out there is the Americans are not going to raise rates other than July by 1/4 point, and then it's going to level off, American bonds and American dollars are going to continue to lose value against foreign currencies. And it's happening now in anticipation of this. A clear example would be a 2-year Treasury note. 2 weeks ago, it was paying 5.2%. If you lent the American government money for 2 years, 2 weeks ago, you were being paid almost 5.25% interest by the United States of America. Guaranteed. Oh, that's easy. That's an easy bet to make. You want to buy a 2-year note right now? You're getting 4.8%. You've already seen almost a 1/2 point evaporate. And the same thing with the 10-year note. The 10-year note was pushing over 4%. It's now 3.8 or something percent, 3.8% right now, falling. In the UK, 4.4%, almost 4.5% interest is what the UK pays for a 10-year Treasury note. Because in the UK, it's an absolute nightmare. The outside world is looking at the UK going, yeah, okay, your currency is rising in value, but we want to be paid to hold pounds, to British sterling. You want me to invest in British government bonds? I need protection. I need money to hold this money, this currency. Because in the US, I'll get 3.8%. From the Brits, I want 4.5. Germany, to give money to Germany, I can only get 2.4. Germans only pay 2.4% interest on their 10-year debt, and they really don't have much because they run surpluses. But nonetheless, they issue debt anyway because their pension funds need something to generate their income from. This adds currency to their balance sheet. 2.4% in Germany. Germany is in turmoil right now. There's all kinds of turmoil in Germany, economic turmoil. We got the Ukraine thing going on. The Germans are upping their defense budgets dramatically. They're producing ammo right now. They are ordering ammo left and right to hand it over to Ukraine because the Germans have figured out they have long memories. Okay, long memories. You don't trust the Russians, all right? They tried to be nice to the Russians and work with the Russians through the last 15 years and say, we'll buy your oil, we'll buy your natural gas, we'll buy Russian product, allow our product in, we'll allow your product in. Travel, we'll allow your folks to travel to our country. We'll allow Russian students to study here. We'll allow Russian businesses to have subsidiary companies here. You allow us to have subsidiary companies in Russia. We can grow economically very nicely. And Putin, for whatever reason, believes that there are Nazis all over the place ready to take Russia over, and has put his troops into Ukraine to send a message to the rest of Europe that we in Russia are strong and we're not going to be messed with. And in 10 days, watch what we can do in Ukraine. We'll send 200,000 troops into Ukraine, and in 10 days, we'll take that puppet government out of power. We'll get Zelensky behind bars. We'll try him for sedition and everything else. And then we'll hang the guy, and we'll get rid of all his cabinet ministers, and we'll shut down the media in the Ukraine, and we'll take over all the electric plants, and we'll take over that country, and we'll make it all part of Mother Russia. And now when we negotiate with you, Europe, you take us seriously. And that was 500 days ago. And it didn't work, did it? And the Germans are going, screw you, you son of a bitch. We're going to show you. If you're going to mess with us like this, watch how we mess with you. Because we don't need to do business with you guys. You need to do business with us, actually. You Russians who think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, you guys need everything from us to make your economy work. You don't get it. Yeah, you make wheat. Yeah, you mine minerals. You've got oil, sure, lots of natural gas, but you haven't got customers in the West to sell to. And what's going to happen is we're going to put the screws to you guys slowly but surely. We're going to give you the economic game plan screwdriver and make it much more difficult for business to be done between East and West. We're going to make it much more difficult to travel. We're going to make it almost impossible for Russian rubles to be useful in Europe. And your oil and gas and your natural gas, you'll have to sell it under the table. That's the only way you're going to do it. And you can sell to your friends. Sell to your friends in China. Sell to your friends in India. Sell to your friends in Turkey. Find other friends, all your Armenians and Azerbaijanis and all your pals over there. Knock yourselves out. But those folks don't have dollars. They don't have euros, and they don't have pounds sterling. Good luck with all that. And over time, and it's now 500 days, the next 500 days, the grind will be relentless on the average Russian, unfortunately, and the Russian economy as a whole. Rates could stay much higher for much longer, unfortunately. The Germans will not pay the economic price that others are paying in Europe. Europe is in recession, no question about it. Europe has accepted a recession because the question is this: would you rather have an economic recession in Europe, or would you rather have Russian-made and or Iranian-made drones dropping bombs all over your cities in Europe? Your choice. What would you rather have? Would you like to look like downtown Kyiv or Mariupol or some of these other Ukrainian cities? Would you like to have your countries around Europe look like that because you're not willing to go with Putin on that track? Or would you like to be in a recession right now and we're going to direct dollars away from social programs into military spending to keep that guy totally up to here in all kinds of trouble, including possible mutiny of his own army? They took door number 2, and they're going to continue door number 2. You just saw the NATO meetings a couple of days ago. Ukraine is desperate to get into NATO. America would love to have for Ukraine part of NATO. The only problem is for the United States, Canada, the UK, and other countries is if you make NATO become part of Ukraine part of NATO, then you are obligated to send U.S. children, armored personnel, Canadian soldiers, UK soldiers into the Ukraine. That is a declaration of World War III against China, against Russia, because Russians are in Ukraine. If the American soldiers land in Ukraine, you got the superpowers right at each other's throats. And that's not what Mr. Biden is interested in. It's not what the Congress wants. It's not what the Senate wants. It's not what the King of England wants or the Prime Minister or anyone else. But the Ukrainians are going, hey, we're fighting these guys using your bullets. We're running out of bodies here. We didn't have 50 million Ukrainian men ready to go to war. We have a small group of people here, and we're running out of bodies, although we appreciate how many mercenaries are coming in here to work and fight for us, including Americans and Canadians and Brits. But it would be nice to have a little more of our back. And Mr. Biden doing the smart political thing, speaking softly and behind closed doors, is saying, look, here are some more weapons for you. We'll send you the advanced weaponry that the Russians don't have. We know they don't have it. We know that this will annihilate them in their bunkers. We know that these little cluster bombs will just create havoc all over the place for Russian positions. It ain't pretty, but it's better than for us than sending in our kids, because Mr. Biden is not interested in instituting a draft in the United States to get his hands on 1 million additional soldiers so that 500,000 can be sent into Ukraine and elsewhere to back up all of NATO's front line. Because if you send in American troops into Ukraine, you must at the same time send in troops to Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Finland's front line, Sweden's front line. The entire border of Russia and NATO will now be fortified with British, Canadian, American, and everyone else's troops. That is World War III in Europe. The Chinese are going to sit back and go, whoa, what do we do about this? Our buddy, Mr. Putin here needs our help. Are we going to back this guy up, or are we going to hold off? At the moment, the Chinese are watching and going, this is kind of scary. You may notice that the rhetoric between China and Taiwan and USA has calmed down the last couple of weeks, because the Americans are sending in delegations to China very quietly and saying, here's the situation. We could allow and admit Ukraine to NATO. We just brought in Finland and Sweden. We've now got a line from the Arctic Circle all the way down to Poland and through other countries in Europe against the Russian scenarios. There's only a few countries left that we need to acquire under NATO to keep the Russians hemmed in to where they are. We might have to do that if you guys keep raising the nonsense in Taiwan. You're forcing us to back up our pals in Europe to show them that we got their back. Then we can turn our attention to give the Taiwanese some support and can let them know we got their back. The Chinese are sitting here going, this isn't just a U.S. spat with Taiwan. If we back Putin all the way, we're going to have to back him up through all of Asia and all of Europe. And now China has to either poop or get off the pot to decide if they want to become a world military power and risk millions of their troops and billions, trillions of their dollars. At the same time, have the rest of the world cut them off economically, because now it's illegal to deal with China. Oh, are we having fun here or what? It's just Thursday, July the 13th. I'm just trying to help you guys figure out how to make money in this market. But in order to make money in this market, you got to understand what the rest of the world is up to. We got all kinds of issues here. Sweden, by the way, has raised interest rates aggressively for the last year. Much more aggressively than people thought they would have to. And the Swedish government has taken a policy that if the Americans are raising their interest rates and the Brits are raising theirs and Europe is raising theirs, we're going to raise our rates even more aggressively. And that makes this country of ours, Sweden, it raises the prices of all imports into our country, which keeps our people from buying so many imports. In other words, we're causing a recession in our own country. We're in effect not allowing goods in cheaply. We're allowing goods in, but it's at top dollar, which is in a form like a tariff. But Swedes are finding that they can get a lot of money on their interest rates. They can get a nice deposit, but they've found something else out, that by raising the rates as much as they've had, Swedish bonds do rather well. They pay a nice interest rate. Swedes are finding that their currency is holding a nice value against the euro, and they can travel to Europe on the cheap because their currency is worth more money than the euro currency. Funny. But if you have investments offshore, if a Swede owns a owns a cottage or a second house in Copenhagen, and they run it as an Airbnb or something like that. They may find that the value of their home in Copenhagen or in Berlin or wherever they do this business has not appreciated as much as it has in the past, and or the capital coming in, being euros, is not as juicy as it was before. It's an interesting dichotomy here. The American dollar is falling against European currencies, despite the mess the UK is in. Its currency is up against the American dollar. If the US raises its rate by a quarter point in July, and they talk about the possibility that we think we're going to raise rates in November again, they use that talk, the American dollar will rise. If the feeling in the rest of the world is that it's a one and done thing, they're going to raise rates in July and they're not going to raise rates in November, the American dollar will continue to slump. Slowly, not overnight, not dramatically, just slowly. See how that plays out. All right. The Toyota Motor Company. I want to talk about our friends at the Toyota Motor Company. Why would I do that? I remember when I was 30-something years old back in the 80s. I turned 30 in 1985. And I recall even before that, in my 20s, back in 77, 78, and before, back in 73, actually, the United States got its first shot across the bow since the Second World War ended, that you're not the end all and be all of the world anymore. And Americans were shocked. They couldn't believe what happened to them so quickly. It happened almost overnight. And it really upset a lot of Americans. And it also made a lot of Americans reflect strongly about what was happening. And the rest of the world watching what happened to America in 73 and 74 emboldened some countries against the United States, and also broke open the myth that just because you win the Second World War doesn't mean you get to rule the world for the rest of all time. What is the event that I'm talking about that happened in 73, 74 that rocked America's confidence in itself and absolutely shook up the country? The oil embargo. The oil embargo. OPEC decided to not sell oil, or they decided to restrict how much oil they were going to sell to the United States, because the Arabs were pissed off at the Americans supporting Israel. This is what it was all about way back when. This hasn't stopped. This game continues. But back in the 70s, America was backing up Israel, and the Arabs were upset and didn't want America's nose in their affairs over there. And they just wanted to overrun Israel, get rid of the Jews, and solve that problem once and for all. Americans weren't having any part of that. And neither were the Brits or the Canadians or others. And so what happened in Canada and America and other countries, the Western countries, there was an oil embargo. But what the country that paid the biggest price and was shocked the most at what happened to them was America. The United States of America was addicted and was importing massive amounts of its oil to use for its automobiles, trucks, and infrastructure versus domestic production. It was cheaper and more economical for Exxon, Chevron, Mobil, all of the U.S. major oil producers, the major oil and gas companies based in the States. They were spending their exploration dollars not in America. They were spending it around the world, and they were finding that they could find oil in Saudi Arabia by just punching holes in the ground. It was like a no-brainer. There's oil everywhere over here. And so they built massive facilities to produce oil for the Saudis and the Iranians and the Qataris and Bahrain and Oman, and name them all. Name all the OPEC countries. America was everywhere. And oil was being pumped out of the ground, and it was being put onto tankers. It was either being refined there or partially refined, and then oil was being brought into the United States in super tankers. And Americans were enjoying the best of everything. They had the strong U.S. dollar. They had the strong U.S. military, and they had cheap oil and gas. And so the auto companies were producing Ford Falcons, mid-sized cars with V8 engines, the Camaro, a two-door sports coupe in 1973, 71 with 400 horsepower, 4-barrel V8 engines, the Mustangs, the Torinos, name any brand of American car, midsize or larger. And you were talking small V8s to large V8 engines that were getting mileage of, in the city, 10 to 14 miles a gallon. And America was polluting itself to death. Air quality in the major cities in America was a mess. Canada was a mess. In Toronto and Montreal, the air quality was terrible. And farmers in the West, Canada and the USA, what did we drive? The Ford F-150 with a 400 cubic inch engine, 350 cubic inch engine, the biggest diesel gas guzzlers you could freaking imagine. Life was great, and there were very few pollution controls in those days, and it was wonderful. As soon as OPEC put the kibosh on oil coming into the U.S. at $2 and $3 and $4 a barrel, $2 and $3, $4 a barrel, when that was stopped, we had price increases, and now Americans got to see how deadly Americans are economically to everybody else. Americans noticed how Americans screw Americans. It was unbelievable. Americans had never seen this before. Americans had never realized how they screwed the rest of the world economically, but now they were doing it to themselves. And the oil and gas companies were charging 50 cents a gallon for gas when it used to be 20 cents a gallon, or they were charging 70 cents a gallon when it was 30 cents a gallon. And Americans are going, I'm getting ripped off by the oil companies, which are American. Oh my God. Of course, the oil companies are going, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's the Saudis. It's the OPEC guys. They're doing it. Detroit, in the meantime, the car companies, blissful and ignorant of world events, thought of one thing and one thing only. What does the American consumer want from us? And that's what we'll make. And the American consumer was interested in the Impala, the Capri, the Ford LTD, the F-150, the Chrysler Imperial. They wanted big, luxurious, floating palaces on wheels to go to work every day, 15 miles in and out, to go for weekend drives to the farm or see mom and dad out of state. American consumers wanted big, luxurious, cushy cars to feel like they were successful, and they were happy to pay 20 cents a gallon to do it. And the auto companies were just saying, we're going to keep producing what America wants. We're going to make cars the way America wants cars. And it set everyone up for a major crash. OPEC did a favor in the long run to the American business sector by waking them the hell up that the war is over. In 1945, the war ended. Yeah, you were on the winning side, but you weren't the only participants. You were on the winning side, and you're benefiting from now 15, 18 years of post-war expansion and growth and everything else. Wonderful. Now it's 1973, 4, and 5, and gasoline isn't going back to 18 cents a gallon ever again. Gasoline now is headed to 70 cents a gallon, eventually to $1 a gallon, and then inflation adjusted, $3-something a gallon, $4 a gallon. And the other little ditty coming out of it is you can't just have leaded gasoline in your vehicles anymore. You have to have unleaded gasoline with pollution controls. And Detroit, you better figure the hell out how to produce your cars that work from a pollution standard and an economic standard, because your customer is not as rich as they were in 1971. They are far less rich because the American standard of living crashed overnight and kept falling and kept falling and kept falling. And no matter who was in the White House, no matter who ran the Senate, no matter who ran the Congress, no matter who your governor was, no matter who your mayor was, the American standard of living kept declining precipitously, bit by bit by bit by bit. America wasn't the only country. The United Kingdom standard of living, Canada standard of living, other G8 countries, we all got hit with this higher cost of energy. We all got hit. And now you know why are there 100-story tall condo buildings in Dubai? Hundreds of them. How come there are 60 to 110-story tall buildings all over the United Arab Emirates, in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Why is Qatar so wealthy? Why is the Middle East doing so well? Why is Saudi Arabia sitting on a mountain of money and is able to hand out all kinds of concessions to its middle class, courtesy of the American and Canadian and European public? We subsidize these guys to no freaking end. The car companies in 74, 5, and 6, finally in 77, 78, they woke up to bitter reality. The Pontiac Le Mans, the Parisienne, the Chevy Capri, the Cadillacs. Do you remember what the Cadillacs looked like in 1978, 79, and 80 versus 71, 72, and 73? They shrunk by 8 feet. They became 1,500 pounds lighter. They looked like miniature versions of themselves, which is still laughable to this very day, how funny these cars looked, how stupid they looked. And the incredible thing about these cars is how short their lifespans were mechanically. They were still produced in the same garbage way that Detroit had been making cars since the 50s. They were designed to rust out. They were not designed to last more than 100,000 miles, because the mentality in Detroit was produce a Chevrolet and every 2 to 3 years they'll buy a new one. The Chevrolet owner is a middle-class American who makes enough money that they can buy a new Chevy every 2 to 3 years. Most Chevy buyers, a lot of Chevy buyers of the four-door sedans, were salespeople, corporate clientele, where corporations were in a region of the United States doing their business, and they provided vehicles to their employees. And these were fleet purchases. And so the salespeople, the VPs, and the district managers had these vehicles as a company car. They ran them for 1 to 3 years, and they gave the car back and got a new one. And that was the deal through the 60s and into the 70s. And so the 77s, 78s, and 79 vehicles that now had smaller V8s instead of the great big giant V8s were claimed to be way more fuel efficient because they're 1,500 pounds lighter. And this is the solution to our problem. And it didn't work. And so it continued on. The companies that scored big time, importers. The importers found the niche, and the folks at Toyota and Honda and Nissan, or in those days Datsun, these guys figured out, you know who we're going after? We're not going after the 45-year-old World War II veteran. We're not going after the 55-year-old dad for the car. That Ford can have those guys. GM can keep those guys. Cadillac can have their average customer be 58 years old. You can have those guys. We're after the college kids. The reason we're after the college kids is Volkswagen and Audi and Mercedes and all these other, BMW and these other guys and the Japanese companies, they figured out the future. They had the flux capacitor, and they figured it out. If we go after the university college crowd and sell them the Toyota Tercel, the Toyota Corolla, the Volkswagen Beetle, the Golf, we sell them the cheapest model of the Audi, we sell them the B210, we sell them the all these import cars. As they graduate and make more money, they will not aspire to getting a Cadillac. They will aspire to the Toyota Corolla. They will go after the Toyota Supra. They will go after the higher end Toyota and Volkswagen and Audi and Mercedes and BMW vehicle, because they'll want quality and performance and efficiency. And they don't want a car that they have to replace every 2 years. They're prepared to pay more money for the car eventually and keep it longer. And that was the game that was played. And the importers won the battle, because American companies started importing Colts from Japan, slapped the Dodge sticker on it and called it a Dodge. Or Chevy brought in these tiny little Econo boxes and put a Chevy logo on it and tried to pawn it off as a Chevy product when it wasn't made in America whatsoever. Americans got their butts handed to them, especially American car companies, because they completely misread the market. And the cost of fuel kept going up, and the cost of everything else went up with higher inflation, and America went into a terrible recession. And the Rust Belt was now in full bloom in the northeast of the United States for a good 20 years. It was a decline that lasted a long, long time. Which brings me to Toyota. Finally, why am I all hyped up about Toyota today? This is a company that's been a winner Toyota is completely blowing it pretty well across the board. They are not being perceived by the average consumer as the leader in car technology, not by a long shot. And the one area that they are really blowing it is in the Lexus vehicle division. In Lexus, they just announced their brand new LS 500, whatever the model is, their big flagship luxury sedan, the big one. This car came out as an LS 400 in 1989. It came out with a 3.2 liter V8 engine that cranked out 280, 300 horsepower. That car came to America when a Benz would run you $50,000. This car was $36,900. You had luxury like you've never seen before in a Toyota product, the LS 400, rear wheel drive, V8 powered vehicle that Americans craved. And now you were being offered a Toyota quality car. Shut that front, slam that front door, and listen to the thunk that that door made in 1989. And you knew instantly, oh my God, compared to a Cadillac, this is a luxury item. Slam the door of a Beamer and slam the door of a Benz and the LS 400, and you got quality in that Toyota product. Holy moly, was that nice. And people who bought the 1989 to 1990 vehicles, they found 3 years later they could get almost as much as they paid for it in trade-in. Because of inflation at that time being higher than it was, way higher than now, these cars went up in price every year. The first year was an introductory price to get you in. By the time the fifth year came around, that Toyota was now running $48,000, $50,000. And if you bought one for $37,000 in 89, 90, you were laughing. You were trading yours in for $35,000 and you were getting the new one. You're only paying the difference, 13, 14, 15 grand after 5 years. No big deal. Cadillac was getting crushed. Mercedes, Beamer, they were getting hit. Audi, high-end Audis. All the high-end manufacturers were getting crushed by these new cars coming in from Japan. The problem is that the party is over. This is 2023, and the LS 500, the latest version, is now powered by a V6 twin-turbo engine, gasoline engine, that produces 21 miles to the gallon fuel economy. And they are trying to corner the high-end luxury market with this all-wheel drive version with all the bells and whistles. You're talking the cost of $115,000 to $130,000 for this car, blowing it out the door. They are blowing themselves out of the business. Why isn't Toyota bringing out an all-electric version of the LS 500? Stop producing anything to do with a gasoline car entirely. They're offering a hybrid version with a smaller V6 and 2 electric motors, and the vehicle only gets 25 miles to the gallon instead of 21 for the gasoline version. Oh, and by the way, you want to put fuel into the LS 500? Premium fuel only. You can't use regular unleaded gas in a Toyota LS 500. It's premium fuel. You've blown it. Completely misread the market. The Tesla Model S is outselling the LS 500 and will continue to do so without any issues whatsoever. Elon Musk is so far ahead of the Toyota luxury market. I can't believe Lexus in any way, shape, or form thinks that this is the way to go. You have completely missed the mark. The 300 series, which is one small size smaller, which is basically a Camry, a hyped up Lexus Camry. Beautiful cars in the 80s and 90s. I had an LS 330 for a while in 2005. Beautiful car. Loved it. V6, powerful for its day. Quick, quiet, nice. That car is done for. That car's done for. I would get a Model 3 any day of the week instead of that vehicle. Any day of the week. I'll pay more for the electric car than for that gasoline car because, again, it needed also premium fuel. Totally missing the mark. Toyota should be discontinuing gas vehicles almost entirely ASAP and bringing out their own electric versions, but they're not. They're holding on to the old ways. They're imitating, to me, what Detroit looked like in 76, 77. Even after the oil embargo, it didn't dawn on America that maybe the Monte Carlo that was coming out for 75, 76, that model year, that car came out with a 350 V8 engine and a 3-speed automatic transmission. And it got in the city 14, 15 miles to the gallon, on the highway 20, 22. Rear wheel drive, god awful handling, and there was a rust bucket within 3 years. The Cutlass 442s kept coming out from Detroit. Now, old car guys, car lovers and hot rod lovers, oh, they were just in love with Detroit. The problem was these guys were the guys getting laid off at the factories. These were the guys who were the factory workers back in the Northeast in the day. These weren't high-end lawyers and high-end tax accountants and attorneys. These were the hands-on grease monkey guys who worked with their hands during the day and tinkered with their toys on the weekend, and they loved what Detroit was doing. Detroit thought that was the clientele. They missed the boat. All those kids, the kids of those guys, not every one of them, but a ton of those kids, they went into school like they were supposed to and like mom and dad wanted them to better yourselves. They came out of college. They came out with college degrees. And a bunch of them ended up working in New York and Boston and Philly and other cities where they didn't need a car per se. And if they did get a car, they bought a Toyota. And they wanted a car that was going to last a while because they weren't in a position in New York to own a vehicle where they could tinker on it in the garage on the weekend. They couldn't afford that kind of a place. Mom and dad had the house in Springfield, Illinois, in Akron, Ohio. They had the front yard, the backyard, the garage. But the kids who graduated out of school with the degrees, they got the jobs in those high office towers. And they weren't necessarily in a position to buy Detroit's crap. And they didn't. And there is the turnover that took place. Toyota right now is in danger of becoming Detroit. And if Nissan is following the same path, and if other car companies go down this route and do not go electric, you are missing out on the future buyers of vehicles. Take a look at who drives Teslas in general. Okay, I'm an anomaly. I'm a 67-year-old, 68-year-old guy who would love to have a Tesla all the time. The 28-year-old coming out of college, guess what they want? They don't want a Ford Mustang with a 350 V8 in it. They want a Tesla. And the 30-year-old couple, guy and gal, guy and guy, girl and girl, the couples out there of the future and their future families, what do they want? They want economy, they want environmental considerations, and they're prepared to go electric. And that's the direction this world's headed. The minivan is dead. The pickup truck is perfect for Wyoming, Colorado, the Wild West, yes. But the pickup truck extended cab is not very practical in Manhattan, okay? You can't park the dang thing. You can't see where you're going. Too many people running around the vehicle. It's got its place. Oh, yes, America has its place for pickup trucks, believe you me. Very roomy, but Europe does not have a place for gas-guzzling pickup trucks. Can you imagine trying to fill a 35-gallon tank at $10 a gallon in Helsinki or in Berlin or in London or Sheffield or Leeds or Paris? Or no, you're gonna spend $350 for a tank of gas. That's good for maybe a week, maybe. No, you're gonna buy that 30-gallon tank of gas at the Costco in Denver, Dallas, Oklahoma. Sure, yeah, here Calgary perhaps. But even in this city, in Calgary, more and more pickup trucks are showing up with diesel engines, turbo diesels, highly efficient, 30 miles in the city, 35 miles to the gallon on the highway and up. That is the area they're headed with the torque that the diesel can provide. V6 turbos. But if Tesla, the one mistake I think Tesla has made is they're trying to bring out a pickup truck that looks like a driving triangle. I think this is a major mistake by Tesla. I think they would be far better off if they were to create a pickup truck that looks like a Ford F-150. Maybe it's got Tesla-ish views and stylings, but a driving triangle might be too radical. But hey, we'll find out. Dallas is, Austin, Texas is where the plant is, and they're ramping up production on the truck. They've got hundreds of thousands ordered. We cross our fingers that there won't be a zillion defects on it and it'll work out. We'll find out when we see it, but it might be too radical for majority of the pickup truck market. But things change. We'll see what's going on. Anyway, there you have it. My little rant. I got 9 minutes to go before we start trading the day here. We're still watching the futures doing what? Up 59 points on the Dow. We got nothing going on. It's a nothing burger. We're up 16 on S&P. We're up 114 on NASDAQ. Crude oil down 16 cents at 75.59. That's where we are right now. I cannot imagine that 14-year-olds to 30-year-olds actually believe the future of the world is cognizant and is hinged upon the availability of cheap oil and gas. I have a suspicion that a massive generational shift is going on away from carbon energy, from oil and gas. Natural gas will be a hanger-on, and that's an area to shift into. But gasoline-powered vehicles that don't get high performance or high production, I just don't think that the youth of the world, not just America, the world is actually sold on that. I think those days are over, and the fossils out there, and again, any of us with white hair, we're fossils. Those people whose mantra is drill, baby, drill for solving all kinds of problems, you're out. You're dinosaurs. You're no longer the future. You're the past. And the future generations are coming in, and the older generations are fading out. The boomers are dying of old age faster than we're replacing ourselves because we didn't have the kids like our parents did and our grandparents did. And so the shift is on, and the dollars are shifting from the elderly to the younger. As the younger get middle-aged, the elders fade out. And this group coming up are not enamored with ExxonMobil like we were when we were 25 years of age. My dream car was a BMW or a Corvette when I was a kid. Powerful. I would really rather have had, and I did have a BMW in my 20s, and I was amazed at how quick it was, how agile it was, and the fuel economy I got on this six-cylinder inline six-cylinder engine. 170 cubic inch engine with 174 horsepower. I couldn't believe it. I had friends of mine with 350 V8s, 350 inch V8s getting 186 horsepower. And I was getting 170 plus horsepower from a 170 inch engine. German technology, fuel injectors. It was a standard. It was a basic standard leather clad, beautiful BMW 5 Series. And as the years went on, they got smarter, fancier, automatic transmissions, eventually all-wheel drives, even more economic and faster and better handling. Unbelievable. But the future now is electric. 4-engine electric is where I see it, maybe 5. I see the day where there are 5 motors in a car, 1 for each wheel and 1 for all the systems. And that means each engine can be smaller, more efficient, and you'll have each wheel being powered with power and resistance by master computers in the vehicle. Smart as a whip machines with 5 engines. I see the future, especially with the all-wheel drive side. That's the future. But we're not there yet. At the moment, we see dual engine, dual motor Teslas. High-end Teslas, 3 motors. 1 for the front wheels, 1 motor for the back wheels, and 1 motor to run all the systems. But I can see the day where there will be 5 engines, and they'll all be smaller, and it'll be way more efficient. The battery pack can be a smaller battery pack, and it'll be a more efficient battery pack. We'll have 500 miles of range. That's all we really need. And the cars will be lighter. And lighter with 500 miles range is the future. And I can see plug-in time, 10 minutes. You'll be plugged. If you go to a super charger. But most people will plug in at home every night. Because you only need 50 to 150 miles a day max to live your regular life. And you'll just come home, plug in your car, and you're good to go. There will even be pads in garages where there's no plug-in. You just park your car over the pad, and it's wireless charging. That is the future of the future, and that's 5-10 years from now. But will I be around? That's the question. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be around. I don't know. Let's go see what happens. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Nice to have you here. My Model S saved my life. Car was almost totaled, but saved my life from an SUV slammed head into me. Nothing safer to drive. How about that? Let's see. You the man, says Steven. So glad I found this channel. Let's see what else is going on. I'm looking forward to seeing like a Chevrolet truck coming out of GMC with 5 engines, one for each wheel for the pickup truck, and one for the systems. And you'll have a big frunk. You'll have the back end there. Low center of gravity, generally speaking, because the weight will be on the lower end. Incredible handling, speed, torque, everything. And the equivalent, you'll pay the equivalent of a third the price to run it on electricity versus gasoline. I can see that. But I do see the future where governments will have a gasoline, they'll have an electrical tax, a tax on electricity, because they're missing out on all the taxes from the oil and gas business and all the gallons we used to buy. They'll replace that with electrical surcharge. But the air in the world will be a lot better for it, perhaps. But that's down the road. That's way down the road. Anyway, yeah, I do think these $100 fill-ups are getting awful old. There you go. What can I say? More torque, less noise. Welcome all. It's great to have you here. Lame Duck is desperate to write puts on AMC or calls on AMC, puts on AMC. Good luck with that. What else going on? Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What else is happening going on here? Welcome all to the program this morning. I'm glad you're here. Biggest mistake Toyota ever made was scrapping their partnership with Tesla right before the stock ran up a few years ago. Yikes. Yeah, they used to be impervious to making bad moves. Now they're just making one after the other, I think. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thank you all for popping in. A lot of you, of course, are here to talk to each other, which is great. And it's nice to see you here. What else is going on here? I think the Rivian trucks have 4 engines. And let's see, to register our EV is $200 a year. Our gas and hybrid cars are $20 a year. Yeah, I think there's going to be that. Alex, even with brakes, charging an EV takes a long time. Standard 120 volt outlet takes days to charge an EV unless there's supercharged infrastructure in place. Thing about charging a Tesla in your garage, what you do is you install a 240 volt line, which is what you use for your washer and dryer, the 240 volt line. You put one of those in your garage, cost maybe $300-400 from your electrician, and you plug your vehicle in there. You're adding 30 to 40 miles of range per hour. So you get home from work at 6 o'clock at night. Run around a little bit, do some shopping after dinner or not. You keep the car plugged in starting at 8 in the evening. How many miles do you need to replenish your battery? Do you need 200 miles? Did you actually drive 200 miles today in the city? I don't think so. But let's say you need 200 miles to top up because tomorrow you're going on a trip. 40 miles a gallon of range is being added. 40 miles of range per hour. That's 5 hours. From 8 until 3 in the morning. Come on, give me a break. From midnight till 5 in the morning. You can also program your vehicle to accept electricity when the rate is at its lowest per kilowatt. And if the lowest rates are from midnight till 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., that's when you accept the charge. So if you only need 100 miles, it's 4 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's it. Now, if you leave the car plugged in at 110 volts, just like, any device, you're getting 5 miles per hour. The funny thing for Jen and I is we were in California all winter. I had a Model Y Tesla for the whole winter. I would come in in one day, Jen and I were running around all over town and stuff. And went to Costco, in and out, Walmart, Target. She had me driving everywhere. And I would need 50 miles, 60 miles of range to top up the battery. Well, I still had 200 miles of range. I mean, what the hell do I need to top it up for? But I would just, as a matter of course, plug in the car 110 volts. It would bring in 5.5 miles per hour of range. I could check my charging progress on the phone, which is incredible. I didn't have to go to look at the car to see how it's doing. And the phone would tell me the battery is charged up to the level you want it charged up to, 80%, 90%. You're all charged up. Even though it's still plugged in, it's not drawing power anymore. It's stopped drawing power. And at 5-something miles an hour coming in, I plugged the car in at 4 in the afternoon. I'd be on the air with you guys the next morning. And in the afternoon, we'd go for a drive. By the time we got back in the car, it had been 18 hours since we last drove the car. We brought in 90 miles. I didn't even need 90 miles. I brought in 60 miles, 40 miles. We're all charged up. Very rarely was there a day where we were not fully charged up the next time we drove the vehicle. It was almost non-existent. And I knew in the back of my mind, if I need to charge the vehicle up 150 miles because I've really drained it, there's a supercharger 1.5 miles away from the condo we were renting at the local shopping mall over at the river. And that would take me 8 minutes to charge it up. And it would run me, what, $4, $3? A joke. It was a joke. All winter, never used a supercharger in Palm Desert. Not one time. For 5 months, didn't use a supercharger once. Just the 110 outlet. The whole time, a 110 outlet. But if it were in my own house, I would have the 240 watt charger. Absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely incredible. Larry, thank you for ringing the bells. We're up. We're running. Bruce can shut up now and cover the markets and stop talking about electric cars and all kinds of other socialistic things and get back to what we really want to talk about, 350 V8s and turbocharge this and 4-barrel headers. And we want to burn some pavement here, man. Talk to me about the big freaking trucks out there. That's what I want to talk about. Welcome everybody to the show. I've just changed the chat to members only to keep the trolls out. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the program. Thank you for 99 thumbs up so far. Hope you're not too upset with me on my rant today. It's great to have you here. Thank you all of you out there who've been reaching out to me in the last couple of days, letting me know how you're doing, and some of you picking up some of the classes and also getting inquiries about one-on-one. So looking forward to seeing some of you folks here. Lesson number 16 is under construction. And we might be doing it sooner rather than later. I'll probably know on Monday exactly what's going on for lesson number 16. So stand by. Lesson 16 is going to be coming your way not too long from now. So just stick with me on Monday. I'll let you know about that. I have to talk to Auntie Jen about our timing and stuff and figure out what's going on. So there's that. Okay. Things happening. We're open now with a 110-point run up so far on the Dow, it would appear, but let me just double check and refresh everything to make sure everything is fine. Amazon says that Prime Day yesterday was its best sales day ever. They were very happy with how it went. So there you go. We've got the Dow now up 111. We've got S&P up 23.5. NASDAQ is up 126 points. So we got a third of a point for the Dow, half a percentage point on S&P, and 0.91 on NASDAQ. Oil is down 8 cents a barrel, 75.67. That's where we're at over there. All right. Matterport is up 7.5 cents to 371. We have NVIDIA up 780 to $446. SoFi is at 889 at the moment, down 31 cents on the session. The low of the day, 888, the high of 903-ish. And now we're 889 on 5.5 million in 5 minutes. We had a down dip to start the day and still sitting on one. I am, I find it, I'm baffled. I guess the word is, it's baffling to me, absolutely baffling to me, how analysts out there are poo-pooing SoFi. They will not get on board the SoFi bandwagon and really be there to admit the obvious, that this company is growing leaps and bounds, and it has nothing to do with student loan financing whatsoever. This company, without getting payments for student loans is accelerating its revenues dramatically. It has reduced its losses per share per quarter dramatically. It's down to like 4 cents loss last quarter report. This company is on the verge of going profitable without a single student loan payment coming in. The fact that there will be payments starting, whether it's August, September, and it will be adjusted forward or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, SoFi will get their student loan funds come through. They'll get all that, their interest, everything. And this company will be unbelievably profitable, but it's already becoming a profitable company on its very own, with its bank charter, having acquired a mortgage company, doing credit card financing, setting up stock trading services. I mean, this company is not the same as it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, SoFi, as compared to today, you don't recognize it anymore. But the street doesn't understand it. For whatever reason, many analysts out there have got this blockage in their noggins. They don't believe SoFi can be successful, period. Just no way. Just no. Out and out, dismiss. I don't understand what edibles they're enjoying or consumables, but they got to stop going to those funny little stores with those Apple counters filled with all those substances. They got to get back to drinking water and eating healthy, because these guys are not thinking straight. Again, it's just my personal opinion, though. I mean, I'm not the analyst for J.P. Morgan. I'm not the Goldman Sachs top analyst for their banking and fintech sector. I admit that, but I see the obvious of this company's success, and it's just in my face. Anyone can see it if you have an objective viewpoint. But then again, maybe these guys don't have the objective viewpoint. They're not allowed to have an objective viewpoint. Is it possible that Bank of America people would rather JP Morgan not to talk about SoFi in a positive light, because that would put their stock in a negative light? Maybe the thinking is that certain financial entities out there would really rather SoFi not be considered as successful as it's going to be. But again, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Anything's possible. I mean, it's a wide open world. I don't know. Luca, thank you, Larry. NVIDIA now at 1.1 trillion market cap. NVIDIA. Bjorn, I'm number 99. Hi from Sweden. How you doing, Bjorn? Wonderful country there. Alex, Clay, 180. So true. You need the infrastructure. In the UK, you can charge 20 to 80% in 20. You can charge up to 20 to 80% in 20, 30 minutes while you take a break. Robert Benson, I'm number 99 on the thumbs up meter, buddy. You are coming up. It's coming on here. Alex, Clay, I would definitely recommend you take a test drive. Buying a car is about choices, and EVs are so much easier and relaxing to drive. That's valuable to me. Clay, I'm a petrol head, though. I need a vroom vroom when I drive. My Subaru will suit me just fine. You know, the noise that the electric car makes inside when you're inside a Tesla and you get that acceleration rush, it's unlike anything else. I love it when I have visitors come down to see us from up here. They see us in California, and we go for a little spin in the car. We pick them up at the airport, and it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone around there, so we just kind of creep along and follow the traffic, and we get out to the 3 lanes each direction in Rancho Mirage and whatnot, and we're at a red light, and we're the first car in line. And up ahead, the speed limit is 50 miles an hour, and there's nobody there. And we cross the intersection very casually and slowly accelerate. And there's a car beside us that's going the same speed as we are. And then I just kind of press the gas, the accelerator just a little bit more. And we go from 25 miles an hour to 60 miles an hour, to like that. And the people in the car go, whoa, whoa. And I said, this is nothing. I've just given it a little bit of a boost here. I haven't asked this dual engine vehicle to do anything. They can't believe it. And then we go for a little spin elsewhere, and they see for themselves just what these vehicles are capable of doing. It is just unbelievable. The word roller coaster comes out every time. It's faster than the beginning of a roller coaster. And there you go. Crazy says, Crazy 49. I drive about 10, 25 miles a day. I use the 110 volt, no issues. Long trips, I use supercharger, 400-mile return, 20 to 25 bucks. There, see right there. That right there is what it's about. We drove to Phoenix year before last. It was October 22, is it? This is 23, 20, 21, October 21. We took a Model 3 from Palm Desert to Phoenix, and then we drove around Phoenix for 4 days and then came back. And in Phoenix, we only had 386 miles of range on this Model 3. And we would have to go into a supercharger station, which is at one of the premier shopping malls, which was really handy. So I would take Jennifer and Jennifer Jr. to the front doors of the mall, because at that time, Jen had her bad hip. So I would take them right to doors of the mall. They would just walk 15 feet in, and they'd be in air-conditioned comfort. And 20 feet further in would be the security desk. And what would Jen Jr. get? A wheelchair for Mom. So Mom was looked after. In the meantime, I would drive the car back to the supercharging station, and there would be 12 parking spots or 14 parking spots. And I'd wait for an opening, back the vehicle in, and plug it in. And I would just delight at looking at the screen on the dashboard telling me what's going on. And I would need 190 miles of range, 200 miles of range to top up the battery. And it would tell me 18 minutes, and it would be the countdown clock would be going on. It would be counting it down by the second, right to the dang second. And I'd watch the last 30 seconds to see if I got the circle of death, to see if the car was guessing. No, it wasn't guessing. It was 3, 2, 1, 0. Bing. Car's fully charged up. You can unplug the car now. You're done. It was bang on accurate. It was so cool. This is 2 years ago. Amazing. Things keep getting better and better and better. I'm impressed with those guys. All right, what else is going on here? Deep Value is saying that ASML approaching all-time highs of 800 a share. Does anyone else follow Max Payne for options? Luca MS has also downgraded SoFi. I was reading earlier, Morgan Stanley. B. Tizzle, several calls across the market will be finishing the week in the money this week if we stay up like this. Karim, who cares about student loans? Let's move on with that. SoFi, it's getting old. There you go. Alex Clay, maybe make the noise in your head. It's not the same, I guess. Maybe. B. Tizzle. There were 60,000 $191 calls on IWM Russell ETF that expired in the money yesterday. Crazy 49er Clay, I sold my 15 WRX when I got my Y. It was painful, and I still do the subby wave in my head whenever I see one on the road. Slayer, there's a Canadian water with CBD and THC balanced and low dosage. I think Quatra water is the name. Very recommendable dosage for work. There you go. A manager. The analysts are doing it. Someone can buy it cheap here. The analysts are helping us out. Hector Salamanca, number 116, thumbs up. Bruce, thank you. Kareem, edibles. Cindy, I'm number 100 today. Deep Value, I've driven a whole year without supercharging. 30,000 miles charged at free at a local EV charger. How about that? How about not paying for gas for 30,000 miles of driving? Just think about that. If you would get 30 miles to the gallon, that's 1,000 gallons you didn't buy at what? $3.50 a gallon? $4.50 a gallon? It's money. That adds up. Deuce, I am Matterport looking for a double as of May 23rd, number 115. Splayer, at least. Rocket Lab and Matterport are moving higher. At least. B. Tizzle, Deep Value options. That's some Deep Value. Maria, 116. Bruce, I am number 116 on your thumbs up meter. You are going to get 200 thumbs ups on this morning show, as you always do. And I thank all of you out there. Yesterday, we left you with about 181 thumbs ups, where we, last I saw, we're at 220, something like that. Rerunners, the rerunners watching this show. Thank you, everybody on the rerun, for hitting the thumbs up button. Manager, I entered a limit order to sell 7.5 Jan 24 SoFi cash secured puts for $1.20. Will I get the fill is the question. Will the stock drop enough to get the 120 fill that manager desperately would like to get? This is the time where, when SoFi backs off, you write cash secured puts. This is it. This is exactly it. BW, Morgan Stanley, J. Adelson, SoFi is worth selling as it is starting to resemble a full-fledged bank. Banks are worried SoFi is for real. He downgraded SoFi to underweight his price target to 7, a 50 cent increase, raised his price target and said, sell it. Go figure. It just makes me laugh. All the negative articles, even with an upgrade in price. BW, you've nailed it. You're absolutely on it. I'm just saying they don't have to use the, vodka of herbs to write an analysis about a stock. It's easier in life with a lower amount. Option Nomads snuck in for one number on 119 and 120 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for coming in here with these thumbs ups for me. It's appreciated. We're now at 124 thumbs ups, heading up to 200 without question. Thank you all for being members of this channel. Those of you who are members, those of you who are lurkers, those of you who are subscribers, I appreciate you very, very much. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you're watching and you want to be part of the discussion here during trading time, please become a member of this channel. If you're a Gold Bagel member, join me at 8 o'clock every morning, Monday to Friday, when the markets are open, for your own pre-market alert show. And Wednesday nights, which we had last night, Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, we did the get-together, the Primetime Live with Uncle Bruce for Gold Bagel members. And yet again, we covered stuff that we generally don't cover here. We answered questions we generally don't get on this show, or we elaborated on strategies further because we have more time at 6 o'clock at night on a Wednesday than we have here with an ongoing market. Thank you all who joined me last night for the Primetime Live show. Thank you to those of you who've been watching the Primetime show on rerun at your leisure. I appreciate that too. And again, thank you all for being here this morning. It's so great to see you here. I love it. Clay saying those non-downgrade ratings and articles for SoFi, we call those shenanigans. I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it is. And I call it a license to make money, because when they bring out these BS articles and the stock backs off for, I don't know why, I don't know who would be dumb enough to follow these guys, but there are people. Down goes the stock, and here come the cash secured put writers stepping right in going, hey, thank you very much. I'd love to write 7.5s. I'd love to write 9s. I'd love to write 10s. Give me a nice high premium here and a 50, 60 cent bounce from here. I've already got a trade. Thank you very much, especially those of you who can write 30, 50, 100, 200, 500 calls or puts at a time. You can write that many at a time and pull off 30, 40 cents times 500 puts. Congratulations. You're making some serious dough. Easy money. What year? 1984. Spire has announced their second quarter income announcement. It's August the 9th. Yes, we did mention that yesterday. That's true. Spire, I think more that they are jealous that it went up, so they downgrade it and buy on a friend's account. Maybe. I don't know if that's true. Let's take a look here at some of our favorites. Matterport is up 7 cents. We're up 9.60 on NVIDIA. SoFi down 36 cents to 8.84. Not much of a drop there. A Rocket Lab up 34 cents to 6.40. Anybody out there, does anyone out there have cash secured puts written on Rocket Lab? Hello? Are there any out there with 5s and 6s and 7s? Hello? Are you happy? Are you smiling? Are you noticing that your put contracts are dropping and dropping and dropping? Easy money, isn't it? GameStop up 26 cents. AI up 31. Smart Rent, 391.5 down a half a penny. Nothing serious happening there. What else is going on? Nothing on ATIP. We're at 772. I don't see a lot happening on that stock until they announce a new funding arrangement. And I think that's being put together. Hence, there's complete crickets coming out of here for now. What else? Unity is up to 46.58, up 290 here on Unity. Tesla, 272.93, up 94 cents. Apple's up 72 to back to 190.50. Google up 343 to 123. Moderna's up 54 cents at 126.46. Cisco's up 25 cents. It's about to hit $51. Pfizer's up 17 to 36.16. IBM is at 134 a share, up 120. HBQ up again, up 37 cents to 33.27. Microsoft up 377 to $340.98. ME is up 1.5 cents to 178.5. Amazon up 3.26, and Spire is at 69.4 cents. Touched 71.9 today. We haven't seen 70 in a month. It's nice to see it back here. Now it would be nice to take a shot to the dollar level and beyond. Let's get going here. Wouldn't that be lovely? Announcement for earnings August 9. We'll follow it. Of course, we'll follow it. We'll see what's going on. What else is going on? Your Splayer, Rocket Lab 640. First time this year. BW, Rocket Lab up 31. Nice to see. Keep it up, Mr. Beck. Bobby, Noto sent a tweet, stated it's just a matter of time before SoFi is a banking brand name in America. That is correct. I agree with that, man. I believe that this is a company that the shares of this company, SoFi, they will not be talking about the fact that it makes money or not. That's a foregone conclusion. They are going to make money. The question is going to be, how much money per share will this company actually start making a year from now, a year from now, a year from now? 3 months, they'll do a projection. 3 months later, they'll do another projection. 1 year forward, 1 year forward, 1 year forward. And what I wonder about is when the realization occurs to people, analysts in particular, that, oh my God, the next 12 months, the company is going to earn 75 cents a share, estimated. And the year after that, the estimate is the company's going to earn $1.50. And the year after that, they're thinking of $3.50 a share. When will an analyst go, hold it a second, just wait. If they're going to make a $1.50 profit down the road here, why aren't they trading at 20 times future earnings? That would be a $30 stock. If it's 10 times future earnings, it's a $15 stock. Why is it at $8.82? Why is anyone selling at $8.82? If you know and you admit and you agree that the analysts, one after the other, are coming out with consensus numbers that this company can generate $1.50 to $2.50 to $3.50 a share in profit the next 2 to 3 years, and more beyond that, why is it $8.84 right now? This makes no sense. And there comes a point in time, I don't know when, but there comes a moment when that realization hits too many potential buyers of the stock at the same time. And now what do you have? A breakout. We had an NVIDIA breakout a month or two ago. Is there a SoFi breakout? Will it run from this 8-9 range to this 12-13 range, pause for a week, and then pop to 16-18 and never go back to $8 ever again? I'm here. I'm hello. We're waiting. We're watching. Sooner or later, get ready. Oh my, are we going to have fun? First time since April, says Splayer, that it hit the 640. Bobby, he said same for an article at Seeking Alpha. There you go. Okay, 93-point gain on the Dow, quarter of a point. S&P's up a half a point, 23 points. Looks like NASDAQ up about 1 percentage point. I'm just going to triple check that number and refresh my big SI pad. Yep, 25-point gain on S&P, 139 on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is up 1%. The Dow is up 0.3. So the Dow has to triple its performance to equal NASDAQ today. That would be a 300-point rise in the Dow. So the Dow is lagging today. It's a slacker today, and I sure hope there aren't any slackers here. We have 188 wonderful viewers hanging around today, listening to this old fart with no hair, talking about cars and Sweden and China and recessions and interest rates and all. 188 of them. And how many thumbs ups does this man have? 130 thumbs ups. 58 slackers, according to Strickland, at least, that are wandering the halls. He is handing out the pink slips to you slackers. You slackers have got to get your act together. Hit that thumbs up button. Help us out. Get some viewers on here. Let the world know we're here. We're kind to newbies. We think we find a way to make money in this options market, and you too can join the party. I am stoked. Man, this is going to be a good year or two coming up for you guys. Some of you folks are going to be making some serious cash flow around here. You've seen it happen. A number of you already are making serious cash flows. There are people here who are making a lot of money who don't ever comment. They make money quietly, and it's okay. It's all good. A lot of you contact me privately. You let me know what you're up to, and I am just thrilled for you guys. I am stoked because it confirms every time what I keep telling you about what's happening out here, that you guys can make some serious money being option writers. You really can. There's an 80% chance that you will not make money if you're an option buyer, but there's an 80% chance or more that you will make money if you're an option writer. And I want you on that side of the equation. I want you into the 4/5 camp of success instead of the 1 in 5. I don't want a channel full of lottery ticket seekers. I'm not here to sell you lottery ticket dreams to get rich. I am here to try to make you wealthier, very, very much wealthier, being an option writer. The thing that gets me, that really blows my mind, is I'll have viewers say to me, you know, Bruce, 2 years ago when I found you, 2.5 years ago, I started writing options that summer and that fall, and I was writing 3, 4, 5 at a time. And then, you know, I was making a few bucks. I would make like $2 on a contract times 4 contracts. I made $800 in like a month and a half. And at the time, I just kind of went, well, you know, it's $800. You know, does this change my life? Not really, but it's kind of nice not to have lost $800 in the last month and a half, or lost $5,000 on a fly in the sky, pie in the sky thing. I made $800. What I didn't realize at the time, and I now get it, was when I analyzed that first transaction, or second or third, whichever one this was, and I pulled in this money, I figured out how much money I had on the line to net out $800 at the end of that trade. And I just realized that if you utilize your account, the power of your account, that today, what that would mean is I would, instead of making 800 net profit, I would have made 8,000 net profit. That's what I make now. And it's the same trade as I did then. There's no difference to the trade. The only difference is how many contracts I'm writing. That's it. It's so many weeks out or so many months out for the contract. It's so far a certain point ahead of the market, out of the money calls. This is how many I write, enter, sell to open, and buy them back. And when I buy them back, the difference is there's $8,000 profit there, where there used to be 800. But at the beginning, I had no idea. I had no idea how this would work. And I had no idea that making $800 was a massive win. I thought making 800 was nice. Oh, that's great. $800. I had no idea what that really meant, how big that really was. And now I see it. And here we are talking about cash secured puts, poor man covered call writing strategies, the 90-10 rule, stink bids, stink offers, staying ahead of the psychology of this market. My goodness, the tools that keep coming your way to become successful are massive. And the point again is, you can't make $1 million on any one trade. I don't have one option strategy, one trade where you'll make your $1 million. But I do have, I think, the strategies that I can show you, and the way to write options in a disciplined way, where you will make a lot of money cumulatively. You will continue to win and win and win and win and win, and add to your account and add to your account, and write on the added value of your account. In other words, compounding your wins. And this is where you guys realize, holy crap, I used to make 800 on a trade. Then I made 1,200. Then I was making 1,400. Then I was making 1,900. Then I made 3,300. I never thought I'd make $3,000 on a trade, and I did. I never thought I'd make 5,000 in profit on a trade ever, on anything I ever invested, and I did. And it's the same trade. There's nothing new. I don't have to do anything different than I did 2 years ago. It's just being on top of where the market is and being aware of how the market works. That's all it is. But you gotta invest in yourself to want to get to this place. And you've got to remind yourself, this is a marathon. I'm not here in a 100-yard race. Forget the hurdles for 100 yards. I'm in a steeplechase for 20 miles. I got it. There will be hurdles in my way from time to time. I'll find my way over those. It's okay. This is the name of the game here. Sticking around for the show, guys. I've shown you the cartoons. You saw the cartoons 2.5 years ago, and we're done with the cartoons. Then we did the previews, and we're done with those. We're into the feature now, the feature show. The feature show is hours long, action all over the place, tears and laughs and inspiration and heartbreak and triumph, good guys and bad guys. Yeah, welcome to the movie, pal. Welcome to the show. You've arrived at the show, and the show is hard. To quote Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own, the hard is what makes it great. It is so hard sometimes to be in this market and be an option rider. It's hard. It's psychologically and emotionally a war. That's what makes it so great. It's not boring. I can tell you that. It's not boring at all. If you're sitting at home at night, sitting on your couch, watching TV at 10 at night, and there's something on there, and your mind is over on the options market, welcome to the show. You're now in the major leagues. You have arrived at the show. And I know what some of you people do. It's what I do. Sometimes there are times where it's 9 at night and something's on the TV and family members are watching what's on television. And you have in your hand your phone or your big ass iPad, or you've got a laptop on your lap, and you've got little headphones on, little wireless machines on here. And what are you doing? You're cruising YouTube for options strategies. You're cruising the Washington Post. You're cruising the Financial Times. You're watching Market Watch. You're looking at business stories. You're doing searches on Apple. You're doing what's with news on Tesla. That's what you're doing. You're checking your options. You're checking your account. You're doing all kinds of homework. You're in the major leagues. You're in the show now. You're in the show, all consuming in the show, because you figured out this is the place where dreams come true. And if you want to become a member of the Hall of Fame, the Retirement Hall of Fame, you better be in the show. And you want to get here and stay here as quick as possible and take advantage of it. Some of you have made the investment to get to the show. A number of you have not. You're here and you're pretending. It's okay. I get it. I know this. I've done this. I'm 67, 68. I'm old. I've done it all. I've done all good, all bad, everything in the middle. And here I am. And I understand a lot of you guys out there, kids, guys and girls, husbands and wives. You're out there in your own way trying to figure out how to become part of the show, how to make the show work for you. And deep down inside, some of you are able to admit it to yourselves. I'm not paying the price. I'm trying to do it on the cheap. I'm trying to find a way to become a really good option writer by watching this guy, listening to this guy, following these members over here, and going to the Discord channel and hanging out. I'm part of the crowd. I'm right by the clubhouse. I'm not allowed in the clubhouse because I didn't do the classes and I don't do one-on-ones with this guy. And you may or may not be a member of my channel. You might not even be a member of the channel, but you're near the team bus and you're trying to pick up all the little things to become an option writer, like the major leaguer is an option writer. And there are times where it works really well. Works really well. You're doing okay. But then there are times, days, moments, weeks, months where it doesn't work so well because you are missing something. There's something you're not doing right. There's something you're doing wrong. Your timing is off. Your structure is incorrect. There's something you're not, and it's just these little tips that the coach, the manager of the team, hands out the advice to the major leaguers on the bench. And when it's batting practice, the 400 hitter, the 380 hitter talks to the hitting instructor, and the pitchers talk to the pitching coach. The psychologists are there to help the players with the psychology of the game. Every single ball player ever making it to the Hall of Fame, every single one of them admit they didn't get there by themselves. They had help, a lot of help. And it came in the form of moms and dads and minor league pee-wee coaches and triple A's and everything else. university coaches and or the major leagues or other players. But somewhere along the line, all the way up to the successful career they ended up happening, they all admit, yep, I had a lot of help to get here. The skills were there, the desire was there, but the perfection wasn't there. And it had to come out once I understood my mistakes. This is where I tell you guys, sooner or later, you're going to have to come to that fork in the road where you're going to have to decide, do I become a member of this guy's channel and really hang out with this gang? I mean, really hang out with them? Or do I become a class participant? I take his classes, I hold my nose, I jump in, and I take these classes 1 a week, 2 a week, and catch up with everybody else. And then when he announces class number 16, I sign up for it. I'm in the live audience. I cancel plans with friends to be in his class number 16. There's the commitment to the career. And then I hire him one-on-one. I grab this guy and I pick his brain apart, and he picks me apart. And this is the thing. You'll tell me what you're doing and how you're doing it, and I will critique you in the nicest way possible. You will not cry. It's all right. You will not feel embarrassed. You will not feel belittled. What will likely happen as we converse and we compare notes and we chuckle because we're having so much fun, you'll be going through the session and you'll go, holy crap, I never thought of that. And now here we go. And my work here is done for the day. We've got you to another level, and you have a whole other outlook on everything you've been doing. And you'll realize I'm 90% right, but only 10% needs adjusting. And that 10% adjustment is the difference between clearing $1,400 on a trade versus $4,800 on a trade. Every single time, the difference is night and day. And you quickly understand, talking to this guy for an hour for $400, I pay commissions more than $400 every month on mistakes. I do trading on options, and I add up how much in commission I pay my broker in commissions. And I realize I'm dropping way more money than an hour of this guy's time to not make money properly in the options market. And when you get to that point, you realize this is a business. This is a return on equity. This is a return for the knowledge that I need. I can't get it in the group setting. I can't get it on the Discord channel. I need to get it from him one-on-one, because I need him to understand the big picture of where I'm at, where the family is at, where my career is at, where my health is at, my wife's health, my husband's health, my kids, my everything. I gotta show him the picture of what's going on here at this dinner table. And he can look around and go, okay, I get it now. I see what's going on. Now I understand where you're coming from. All right, this is your solution. Here's 5 options for you. Which one do you want to take? Door number 1, door number 2. Here you go. The pluses and minuses are right here. And within an hour, you'll go, okay, much clearer now. I'm calm. You know what? Tonight, I'm going to go watch TV in the living room with my wife and not worry about the market tonight, because I'm calm now. It's that right there is worth thousands of dollars to you. Thousands. The stress level has been eased up dramatically. You can think clearer now. You can allow new ideas into your noggin because you've gotten rid of a bunch of crap that shouldn't be there. That's what hitters do with their hitting coach. That's what the pitchers do with the pitching coach. The manager to manage the ball club. The players understand that manager over there, when he says you're up on deck, I want you to hit for so and so. The guy getting pulled out understands why, and the guy getting put in understands why, and the whole bench understands this is the right move. Now we know what he's thinking. I see what he's doing, and that's the name of the game: is to be at your best level in this business. You gotta want success completely. And if you're happy with being 40% efficient, more power to you. A lot of you out there have in the past had newbies who are coming in here Some of you are going to end up with a 40% success rate that you're generating revenue from, and you think you're doing great. Because compared to what you used to do, you're doing unbelievably well. Compared to the bloodbath that you've been experiencing the last year, 2, 5, 10, the amount of money you lost in the markets versus how much you're making now, you're not going to believe it. You're going to, oh, this is the best. I'm at the top of my game. What you don't understand is you're not. You've reached a certain level and you're doing well. You're doing way better than we were. If I've helped you eliminate most of your mistakes, I've made you nothing but money. Now we've got to maximize your full return, your full potential. And what happens here time and time again is on these one-on-one sessions, people go, my God, I can make so much more money pretty well doing what I'm doing with a couple of minor tweaks here and there. And oh my goodness, I get all the gravy instead of just some of it. I can't believe it. And why did I wait so long to talk to this guy one-on-one? What am I doing? It's up to you. You gotta want it. When you really want it, you'll come for it. It's all right. I'll be here for a while. I don't know how long, but I'll be here for a while. Hopefully, the advice I can give you here and privately and through the classes will last you your lifetime. And whether that's the next 5 or 8 years or 16 years or 27 years, depending how old you are, how young you are, hopefully I am one of many people going down the road that will keep you on top of your game. Maybe I'm your manager for today, but I may not be your manager in 5 years. You may have another. It's all right. It's all right. It's all good. Thank you all so much for being part of my channel, hanging out with me here. 149 thumbs ups. Thank you for those. I know some of you give me 2 thumbs ups every day through various devices. I know you're there to just add on to the thumbs up numbers. I appreciate it so very much. There are times at 9:30 at night, I'm yawning, I'm tired, I need to go to bed, and I am thinking about this channel. I'm thinking about my viewers. I'm thinking about my members. I am thinking about my students. I am thinking about my one-on-oneers. Because I can't turn it off. I too am of that ilk, but my entire focus is here to try to figure out to help you guys get richer. That's what it's about, and it has been very rewarding for me and Jennifer. Some of you have taken very good care of us, and we really appreciate it. You as a group, as a full group, have made a difference in our lives. You've completely changed my idea of my retirement. I had no idea that my retirement would be this, but it's fun for me, and it's enjoyable for me, and it's motivating for me. I am so pumped up when I find out how you guys are doing on these trades. And I'm also anxious when you guys are not happy with your results and I'm trying to figure out an answer to your situations. It's a challenge for me. I know people of my age group that don't have this kind of life, don't have this kind of engagement with the viewers or any viewers because they don't have a channel. They don't have engagement with people like I do. This is really motivating for us. And to think that in 1 month and 10 days, Jennifer and I will be on an airplane to the UK and to Europe for 2 full months. Again, like last year, is unthinkable, is unimaginable to me from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I could not imagine it. 20 years ago, if you would have told me that you would be going to Europe twice for 2 months each time, back to back, 1 year and another year, I would have thought you're out of your mind. The only way that I could have imagined that is I won the lottery somehow. I have money that I can't imagine because I could not have thought of the idea that go to Europe for 2 months and be working still with you guys. You got to be kidding me. But yeah. And then to think about the fact that after we get back from that one-on-one meeting in New York we're putting together, the meet and greet, October 21, when we see you in New York, and then we're back here and end of October, that only 5 weeks later, we are flying to Australia. And we are gone for 6 months out of this apartment where we're down south in the down under and New Zealand, and then ultimately back to California to finish our winter vacay. I could not have imagined that 20 years ago. No way in hell could I have imagined anything like that. I was thinking 20 years ago, someday, hopefully, Jen and I could go to Australia for like 3 weeks. Could we somehow finagle 3 weeks off to be able to afford a 3-week vacation in Australia while the bills are being paid back home and our employer is waiting for us to come back and not firing us because we took off? Today, I'm talking 4 months down under. What? You got to be kidding me. Yeah, it's doable because of you. Those of you out there who are members of this channel and doing the classes and doing one-on-ones and doing the odd donation on PayPal, you've made the difference. Jennifer is walking because of you people. She is walking without any assistance whatsoever. She's had a wonderful week with her sister this year compared to last year. This is unmeasurable. You cannot measure the difference in the quality of life for Auntie Jen this year versus last year. And there's only one reason that all of that has happened. You guys who I'm trying to get richer, I need to make you rich so that we can remain comfortable ourselves. And there you have it. I'm motivated. I want you to get rich. Oh my gosh, so much fun. What's going on here? I've got so many comments going through that I've ignored, so I got to check them out here. What else? BW is saying here, Uncle Bruce, I heard from Spire, Investor Relations Vice President. I asked about the stock price and what they are doing regarding the RS on the stock price. That is inbound. His response: it's got to be done by the end of September. We've got to do something about our stock price by December, and that's the end of the 6-month cure period. Given the large swings in the stock over the last week, we're keeping an eye on the market so we make the best decision on ratios. Interesting stuff. Splair, imagine we do a run like Carvana from $5 to 44. How about that? BW, Ben Hackman is the guy's name. Bobby, I'm hoping it's a small 10-1 with Spire. Clay, I've been noticing a pattern with SoFi, and I feel like the options market is being gamed. The stock pumps up early Monday and Wednesday and gets slammed Thursday and Friday. Splair, have you seen my email? I haven't been at the restaurant during the Gold Bagel show, but had a great Pan Gassie's Fish Best Time Management only for listening. Clay, the weekly options get pumped up and lose value almost immediately. Clay, that the $9 calls for SoFi this week were in the money for 30 cents and dropped to 10 cents each. Touchgrass, thumbs up, Spruce. Karen, I have three HPQ $30 covered calls for January 2024. It's now in the money at $33. Did I wait too long to do a rollover? Not really. You can look at doing a rollover. You can look at writing a further out call, maybe moving up to 32s or 33s, same amount of money perhaps. Check it out. Keep an eye on it. BW Clay, yep, week over week, like clockwork. Use that info to your advantage. If it gets away from you, roll, baby, roll. BW, a Rocket Lab chart looks glorious. 674, by the way, on Rocket Lab. Just watch for the option rug pull in a direction that works for you writers. Splair, back to 9 on SoFi. Now I can watch again into my day trading account without heartaches. BW can't keep a good stock down. SoFi right now 901 down 19. We're coming on. Deuce Caboose read a thoughtful tweet. Basically said, remember when SoFi got their bank charter and earnings were off because of the acquisition exposure with the Wyndham acquisition, we should probably temper expectations on earnings per share. But I'd be happy for a pleasant surprise. There you go, Clay. Maybe that's going to change in the next few weeks, BW. Maybe today's drop was an attempt to look for sharp stop losses to close or prepare for closing short positions. Then drops just do not feel natural. We're at 902 on SoFi. We're only down 18 cents. Matterport is up 7 to 371. Nvidia is up 870. Rocket Lab 676, up 69 cents. We're going for $7 on Rocket Lab. GameStop 2364, up now 2365, up 21. AI up 86 cents to 4108. Smart Rent down 1 penny. ATIP up a nickel. Unity up 374 to 47.43. Tesla up 81 cents, 272. Apple up 36 cents, 190.13. Google up 393 to 123.55. Moderna is up 160 to 127.52. Cisco is sitting at, where am I here? Cisco is up 34 cents to 51.08. Pfizer's up 32. IBM is up 140. HPQ is up 36 cents, 33.26. Microsoft 340 up 313. ME up 5 cents, 182 last trade on ME. Nice to see 180. Let's go for $2. Amazon up 252. Spire 68.9 down 0.2 of a penny. It's not giving up ground. HD is up down 166 to 315.86. Avanik up 171. Netflix up 84. Adobe up 423 to 511.59. Goldman up 245. Boeing up 72. Meta up 288. Target up 70 cents. JP Morgan up 71. Costco down 289. Walmart down 83. Disney up 9 cents. American Airlines down 28 cents. 1830. DraftKings 30.86, holding $30, up 38 cents right now. Giddy up, everybody. Beat Tizzle. True, I'm most looking forward to finding out deals on Wyndham. Splair from 9.20 to only down 12% on leverage this morning. I wasn't disgusted by the stock down. I was only disgusted because there was no movement between 9.20 after hours and closing at 8.60 opening. Bobby, Tom Hanks, there's no crying in one-on-ones. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying on one-on-one. No crying. BW, Clay, Exactamundo, you are in control of this stock, and when they let it go, we'll know. They know profitability is coming, and they cannot chance a no-to July surprise. So your insight is valid. BW, Bobby Atkinson, clapping for you. Splair, interesting. My mom's portfolio is only through Uncle Bruce's strategy and some bought and sold calls on SoFi once some days ago, up 35% since February in total, without poor man cover calls, by the way. There is no better manager than Uncle B. Touch grass, $9. That's SoFi. Deuce, how is there not some ethical violation of issuing a sell rating while your agency is buying the same stock? How is that possible? JJ smiling. Marcus, I'm number 1, 5, 6. Robert Benson, Bruce, what made you decide to learn others about options? What's with this? I'm very happy you chose to do so. Why are you teaching us about options? Why not? Fool of a Took. Appreciate everything you do, Bruce. Haven't been able as active on here. Life's busy, but I do catch every replay. Need to finally set up a one-on-one for the beginning of August. Splair, you have been reading the food comment, but probably it's not the right place for local food. Fool of a Took, because not she's left, not left, doesn't matter. Flint, guys, hey, shout out to Dad. He is here. Welcome all. Deuce Caboose, if $9 is the new floor on SoFi, I'm A-okay with the Morgan Stanley downgrade. There you go. We're now at 904, off 16 cents on SoFi after bottoming out at 877 this morning. Volume 17 million in 53 minutes of trading. There you go. SoFi doing just fine. Coming back. Rocket Lab up 62 to $6.70. Rocket Lab volume today, 2.4 million. Very good. Low 612. That was the opening. High 676, only 6 cents from here. What a run. This is the highest level, obviously, in the last week. For the last month, this is the highest level. This is the highest level for the last 3 months. This is the highest level for 6 months. This stock was, in the last 52 weeks, $7.29 for its all-time high, 52-week high. We're at the 670 level. We're within 50 cents of the 52-week high for your Rocket Lab. This is real. Looking good. Looking really, really good. Rocket Lab's going a lot higher than this. This is nowhere near a top out. 8 to 10 is an easy window to project for Rocket Lab. Cash secured writers, way to go. I'm sure some of you are very happy right now. Let's see. What else is going on? BW Deuce Caboose, narratives are set to benefit whom? Remember, Wall Street never says sell. Yet for SoFi, they keep saying that, but rising the stock price targets. Head fakes that rookie retail happen to fall victims of every time. Splair, he told us once that the reason was the basic questions in the early days. For example, what is the trailing stop loss? Not a lurker anymore. Number 160. Good morning, Uncle Bruce. Thank you, everybody, for the thumbs ups. 163 are in the house. We need 37 more. We got 5 minutes left for our morning show. Thank you all. And those on the rerun, thank you for hitting the thumbs up button for us. You are getting us to 200, no question about about it. We're up 93 on the Dow. We're up 22 on S&P Nasdaq, holding a 123 gain. The Nasdaq is up 0.86 of a percentage point. The Dow's up 0.27. It's still a 3-to-1 ratio. So the Dow should be up 270 instead of 90 to match the NASDAQ market. No matter what the NASDAQ's doing, it's outperforming. Oil up 81 cents, 76.56 on oil. That is the story. I'm sticking to it. AI, $41, up 78 cents on AI, holding right in there. No problemo at all. Thank you all for your support of this YouTuber. I love you guys. Having tons of funs, as we like to say. Trying to stay on top of this entire market and entire world. Tectonic plates are going on here regarding the economy. Every country has its own little tectonic plate, and we got economies going every crazy direction. It's ridiculous. What can I tell you? Thanks, everybody, from John Anderson. Neat. There you have it. Right on, John. Thank you, my friend, for being part of the show. All of you, you're great. Just fabulous. All right, there it is. Matterport 370. Let's go. Did you notice Matterport went up yesterday after the layoff announcement? It went up. Isn't that something? That stock yesterday was what was it? Down around, where was I here? There we go. There we have it. Yeah, we were around the 340 level, 340 a share. Now we're at 370 level. Yeah, kind of interesting, huh? We also saw 350 yesterday. Now 370. Interesting on Matterport. NVIDIA up 750. SoFi 898. Rocket Lab 672, up 65. Giddy up, man. Karen, neat. Here come the knee emojis. They're coming out. We have 167 thumbs ups. Knee emojis are showing up on the channel. Get out of the knee. Get out of the Knights of Knee way. TJ is on it as well. Neat. John Anderson. Neat. There they come. The knee emoji attack is happening on the channel. Larry Titus. Neat. The knee attack's in Washington. The knee attack is happening in the UK. The knee attack is happening in Canada. All over the USA. Dean is on it. Look out. Splair, have a relaxed day. There's a knee attack out of Dortmund. Look out. Here we go. Howdy, partner. Neat. And people coming into this channel going, what the hell's going on? What are those people doing? Why are they doing those knee emojis? I don't understand it. Why are they always so happy over there? Why are they always laughing over there? How come they say they keep making money in the market when the market doesn't always go up? I don't understand it. B. Tizzle, who's that guy? Why do people become members of his channel? Why do they pay that channel $25 a month to be a member of a channel? I could be a member of a channel for 99 cents a month. Why would I pay $25 a month? What on earth do they get for their money that makes it worth their while to be a member of that channel? I don't understand it. Are those knee emojis that valuable? I don't get it. Why do I sound like Jim Gaffigan? I don't know. Pizza Bucket. I don't know why I sound like Jim Gaffigan. I have no idea. Maybe I love Jim Gaffigan. He makes me laugh. Oh, you got to talk to yourself sometimes to make sense of it all. It's all I can tell you. You got to make sense of life. I don't know what to say. I do the best I can with what I got. Oh, my gosh. Oh, what a market. What a world in which we live. Beach Boy. Hey, Uncle Bruce, I wrote 20 AI-covered calls that expire tomorrow. Also, I wrote another 100 SoFi cash-secured puts January 2024 for 218 and 100 for August the 18th. Those are 8s. I got 46 cents for those. I do like this game. I can imagine you would. I remember the first time that Beach Boy did his first ever option trade. He had to call his banker on the phone to place the order, and he was nervous making his first move, but it worked out quite nicely. And Beach Boy has graduated up on the sophistication ladder dramatically, and it's a pleasure to visit with Beach Boy from time to time. And he is really reflective of many of you here. Beach Boy when I first met him, had a portfolio that was so diverse, and he was doing all right. He's a smart guy, but man, oh man, on the option front, he is deadly. He is deadly good. And here we go, babies. How do you like the Rocket Lab situation there, Beach Boy? Are you still sitting on any cash secured puts on Rocket Lab? Gotta think you got to be smiling from ear to ear on those. I'm excited. Splair, an early retirement plan for financial independence is worth it. You got it, dude. Number 168, neat. Larry Titus, the knee emojis are real and they're spectacular. Indeed, they are, Larry. They are real and they are spectacular. You got to love the knee emojis. Don't ever mess with the knee emojis. You're just going to get run over. You just can't have that. They are real and they are spectacular. Yes. Beach Boy. What's that message there? Just let me see if that comes in here. There it is. My first trade, I stuttered on the phone call. Couldn't stop sweating. The guy made me repeat the order 3 times. Are you sure you want me to enter this trade, sir? Are you sure? Tell me again what you want to do. I want to write. I want to sell to open some GameStop contracts. Are you sure you want to? Yes, I'm sure. I'm confident. Oh, man, that was something. Oh, that was so much fun. We've come a long way. BW, Beach Boy, well played. Shekels everywhere. There you go, Pat Markley. Neat, neat, neat. There you go, everybody. So much fun. The first time I talked to Alberto, the first time we had a one-on-one, Alberto and I, oh, gosh, that was fun. They're a lot different now. I don't have as many one-on-ones with Alberto anymore, but those first few one-on-ones, we covered ground. And when the epiphany would happen, Alberto would go, "Oh, that's what that is. Oh, I get it now." Oh, Alberto could not sit down. He'd be up on his feet going, "Oh, boy." So good. So many of you had the same thing back in 2021 when we started and going through all this time. It happens all the time. I love it. I love you guys the way it's working for you. It is so good. Splair, laugh out loud. I would have extreme problems with the first calls to your banker. Splair, thumbs ups for Uncle Bruce. Beach Boy, Rocket Lab, cash secured puts 5s and 3s are still lurking out there. Oh, I don't know why you're holding 3s. You should be cashing in. This is good stuff, though. I love it, my friend. I am just, this is so sweet. 667 on Rocket Lab. Up 60 cents yet again. Oh, that is a beautiful thing. Well done, sir. Well done indeed. 903 on SoFi, 668 on Rocket Lab. Oh my gosh. A Beach Boy, BW. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Giddy up. Oh, things have changed. Things have changed. Thank you all so much for being here. 170 thumbs ups coming into the final moments here of this show. I cannot thank you enough, guys. You know it. You know what I think of you out there. This has just been a great show. Today's the day that I pick up Auntie Jen. We bring her back to Cowtown, so I've got to hop in the car and go and grab Auntie Jen. And she'll probably say hi to you tomorrow. Thank you all for your continued support of this channel in any way you do it. You Gold Bagel members, you know who you are. You Chillin' with Uncle Bruce members, I thank you so much. So many of you who rarely say anything. You're here. You are a member. You are following me. You watch on reruns. Many of you are members of this channel, and you watch at all hours of the day and night. You can't comment live because you're not here live. I really appreciate you. Some of you send me emails and let me know how you're doing, which is wonderful. I love it. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you all for being members of this channel at whatever level you are. And of course, all of you who are subscribers, please hit the subscribe button, please. And also thumbs uppers. Thank you, live thumbs uppers and rerunners. You guys are the best. And keep pounding away out there. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. and grind the money out of those gamblers. Take those lottery ticket bets and say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Not a lurker anyway. Woo! I want to write. There you go. Go get Andy Jen says not a lurker. BW Uncle Bruce get lots of pre-stretching in. You little Cupid. Not a lurker. BW. There you go. Thank you all for all the kind words and fun. Love doing this every day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time for the Gold Bagel members for the Trade Alert Show. Hit that Gold Bagel membership button, become a member right now, and join us tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, first thing, and Wednesday nights at 6 in the evening for the Hangout Show. It's live, primetime live with Uncle Bruce. Love that. Stay tuned. Monday, I think we're going to have an announcement on the next class number 16. Announcement will probably come out Monday. So get ready for that, and we'll keep you posted on what it's about and when we're going to do it and all that stuff. Thank you. Back above 9. Go SoFi, says Splair. And have a good one, y'all. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the market. 174 thumbs ups. Thank you all. All I can say is neat. Have fun out there. Make a bunch of dough, and I'll catch you guys later. Jen is working her way back to Cowtown, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye for now.